If it's your first time joining us, welcome. For all of my friends that are here whenever I'm on or whenever you can make it, welcome back. I'm very excited. Happy International Scrapbook Day. Whoop whoop. I hope everybody has their comfies on. You've got your water, your coffee, vodka. There's no judgment here, whatever you need today. I know some of you are going to be here for the long haul. You're going to pop in and out. You might be watching it after the fact, right? I'm just happy to have you here. I'm happy to have this. It's for you guys, but it's huge for me too. A whole day of creating. So I love it. I'm back from a couple of days of vacation and rolling right into the fun today. So I have my neon on and my pajama pants on. I don't know. What do you guys, are you in comfies? I thought I was going to put some jeans on, and I'm like, I don't want jeans. I'm going to be sitting here all day with my friends. So I have my jammy pants on and my neon shirt. And we're starting this at 10 a.m. Eastern time because we have a lot to do. So excited to see you guys. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I hope you're doing well. I'll chat for a little bit, and then when I flip the camera, I can chat a little bit more when I can see your comments. Still in PJs. I love it. If you've taken this day to get creative, I think it can be comfy and creative is totally okay, right? And make sure that you stay hydrated. That's the biggest thing. You're going to notice I'm having some voice issues. I'm probably going to have to make a doctor's appointment, but it's not because I've been talking or yelling or it just, I don't know. I'm having some issues. So I'm going to sound like a, what is it, 1-900 operator or something. I've got this smoky voice going on. So I have lots of drinks here. I know a lot of you guys are going to be excited because you've been waiting for gel plate printing for a while. And let me tell you, I see you. If you're out there and you aren't waiting for gel plate printing because you don't know what it is, you don't have a gel plate, you aren't sure if you want a gel plate or if this is your jam, totally okay. You can do a lot of the techniques I'm doing with the kissing technique if you followed me with layering stamps and stencils. Our biggest thing is, are you ready? I put my knee up, getting comfy. Here's the vibe for today. It's going to be collage. So we want to create with our gel plate monochromatic, like a whole bunch of kind of color studies that we can then go and we can die cut. We can use our metal dies. You can hand cut. We're going to do a whole bunch of stuff that we then elevate to make whatever. You don't have to be a scrapbooker. Even though it's International Scrapbook Day, you could make cards. You could put this in your art journal, your traveler's notebook. If you love listing, you can do that. You don't have a gel plate yet. And you're going to find, this is the one thing I would tell you if you are digging mixed media and you want a tool that once you learn a few steps, you can get the most bang out of your buck, is a gel plate. I feel like it is the tool when I'm teaching that once people understand how much paint, a little bit of color theory, that just have fun and go crazy, you can get results. How would I say this? You can get good results. So I feel like it is kind of lots of control. You can get more control over your art, but you can go as simple as you want, as funky as you want. But you will have noticed I haven't really done any gel plating for almost a year. And there's a reason behind that. So you will notice I am not using the Vicki B gel plate. Let me tell you, in this, how long have I been on doing these lives? Prior to COVID, I was going live prior to COVID. And like I always said, it's not because I was super smart, like, ooh, do it live, don't do recorded video. It's because I didn't want to edit videos. So I started YouTube and Facebook's live because I just thought it was easier, and I'm totally okay with just going for it. I'm okay with just being me and putting myself out there. So I've been doing lives for a long time. I've been teaching and actively part of the scrapbooking and paper crafting and mixed media communities for, Riley is 24. I'd say 23 years I've been doing this. So we came out, well, the idea was to come out with a gel plate with my name on it. That was for Joanne's setup, our lovely store Joanne, that I'm still mourning the loss of that. It's really tough because, it's sad as we see this stuff go away that how it will affect any kind of crafting, knitting, sewing, crochet, paper crafting, whatever you're doing. That it's sad when our lack of availability, right? The lack of availability to just go into a store and decide what crafts do I want to do with my kids, or I want to try something new. So that's really tough. So with that, American Crafts came out with a gel plate with my name on it. So one of my, I'm short for words today. One of my criteria was that I had to test it and it had to be a true gel plate. So everything that was in the box, I love the packaging, the stencils, everything that came in there, I absolutely loved. But the gel plate, when I got the sample, not a true gel plate. So I said, I don't want this with my name on it. Well, as artists, we don't get a lot of control sometimes in the things, so it came out. I have never promoted it. You've never seen me use it because I knew that it didn't work. So I've got emails from people who don't really know who I am, but see my name on the box, and I've been getting emails like, I did a gel plate weekend with my friends and theirs all worked and my paper's glued to the gel plate, or I couldn't pull any prints, it wasn't working. It's not you or your ability, it is the gel plate. So I am not using the one with my name on it. If you did buy it, everything in the box, use the stencils, all the things. You could use it as a palette. You could try it with ink, because I think we'll test it, not today, with ink to see. I just don't like to draw a lot of attention to it because I don't want people to go out and buy it. So you've never seen me use it for that particular reason. So I took a year off of gel plate printing just so I wasn't putting it out there and people were rushing out to buy it, because right, it's hard. I work to create a reputation and trust amongst my friends, and then I don't want something like that where you're like, wow, she put this out and it doesn't really work. I really didn't get any say in it. So I just want you guys to know, if you did buy it, everything else that's in there is great. We will test it with ink because I think that it will work with printing ink and other types of ink. It will not work with acrylic paint. Okay, it does not work with acrylic paint, but I do think we could probably do some fun things. I'll do some testing, see with alcohol inks and some other things if we can use it. So I'm hoping we can find, right, the silver lining for that one. If you have a jelly art or a gel press plate, love them. The Speedball, there is a new one we'll have to test, but the Speedball is like the Vicki Booten one. It is not made for acrylic paint. So if you bought that one and you're not getting great results, it's not you, it's the tools you're using. Okay, so I just wanted to preface the whole thing with this. I'm using an 8x10 today because I love it, because I can use 8.5 by 11, which is readily available. I can find lots of paper. You can go to your local print shop and buy. Rich is actually going to get me another pack. I grabbed the last stack of my paper from that. A heavier weight, like a cardstock weight of paper. You can use some tissue paper if you want. I have the Vicki Booten mixed media pad that I'm going to use today as well. And our whole idea is kind of creating monochromatic or close to the color wheel, right? So if we're using warms or cools and then some neutrals, and we're going to make some prints that we can then collage with. Okay, so that, what is our direction is, yes, I have my deli paper here too, Kristen. So we're not going to get deep into gel plating. There, I have an online class that it's 25% off on vickybooten.com. So it literally, you can stock up on so much stuff. You have to dig because there's tons of SKUs. I put so many stencils up there today and so many things that with the 25% off, and then like if you want a Disney kit or the Charmed Vintage kit, they're on sale with an additional 25% off. So now is the perfect time if you've never done one of my scrapbooking classes and you want to dip your toes, or you know you're going to be going to Disney, or you have a friend going to Disney. Tons of stuff is up there at vickybooten.com. And the code is lowercase I, capital NSD for International Scrapbook Day 25. iNSD 25. And you can get 25% off your entire order, everything. So that's awesome, right? That 25% was my downfall. This, not really though, Tracy, right? If you've been looking and you're like, I need circle punches, or I want to get some border punches, or I want to get the circle cutter, or anything like that, lots of things on there that you can stock up, and my prices are probably lower than you would get anywhere, right? I'm just teasing you, but saying like it's a good deal. Okay, so let's flip the camera. I figure whoever's going to be watching us, you're going to be coming in and out today. I'm going to be going all day. We're going to go this one. It goes till, let's say, 12:30, so we can then set up. I didn't want to run one long live stream in case we have any technical difficulties. So let's go through the things. Make sure that you are set on, scroll over the little gear and make sure you are set at, what is it, 720. Oh my goodness, Natalie, help me today. My brain will be better at creating today. My brain is not going to be good at the technical stuff. It is beyond exhausted, right? I have a cat who thinks it's fun to wake me up at 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. Thank you. At 7:20 or at auto, make sure you're watching live, that the live is lit red, the little ball beside it. Otherwise, you're in the past. You aren't watching in present time. So if you have any questions and I don't answer them right away, it could be because you're not watching at the same point that we are. Let's flip the camera. I'm going to show you what I'm using. I'm going to show you how I like to set up my gel plate. And this is our biggest thing today, is just pulling some prints. We're going to use, I'm going to show you some found objects. We're going to make some little things, but we're going to use like just very simple, some stencils, some circles, basic colors. I did pull a ton of different colors of paint, but we're going to do all the things. So I'm going to flip you. It's Blair Witch time. I have to do the little flip, right? So give me a second. Boop, boop. How you guys doing? My glasses on today because I have the worst case of eczema on my eyes, on my eyelid. So I'm thinking that I'm going to take my nail polish off for a bit. Oh, there, look at, there's my belly. Let me, one more adjustment. There we go. Okay, did I miss any questions? I don't know if I did. And figure out why my questions, my chat isn't going, so let me look. Let me refresh, because my chat isn't working, friends. I don't have any comments up here, which is weird because I know you guys were commenting away, so let me make sure. It's going to be very hard for me to talk to you if there's no comments today. There they are. Hello. Is picking up an order an option? Yes, Karen. Just do put your order in so you get the pieces that you want, and then just do interact, debit, and then you can just do it here. But yeah, put the order in. So yes, for any of my local friends, you can pick up. So let's see, what am I missing? There's so much to talk about. So much stuff is going on. And then I want to see. So put your comment again. I am not sure if I missed anything. Boop, boop. Hi, Poppy. Hi, Gracie. Hi, Sharon. Hi, friends. Very happy to have you here today. Okay, Vicky's sitting down, and now let's get to business, right? Because we have lots to do. Can somebody comment? I just want to make sure comments are working. I feel like something's not happening with me. I've never had this before. But I am not seeing any comments. Like I refreshed. Why today, friends? Right? Why? There it is. Hola. Did you just put that? Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Christina. Hello. Hello, Diane. How are you? Good. It's working. Okay. I was working. Hello, Irene. I was a little worried. So my only focus this morning, because we're doing this in 3 sessions. So I call this, we're doing progressive art creating. So normally on a Friday night, we would just do gel plate printing and then we wouldn't have enough time. We'd run out and we can't do the next thing. So we're going to do some printmaking, and then we're going to take those prints. We're going to come back for the second part and we're going to elevate those. So I'm going to use some dies. We're going to hand cut some flowers. We're going to prep our collage pieces, and then maybe some of the backgrounds. And then the third session, which will go on until I have no steam left. So who knows how long we'll be here. Get your snacks in and stuff. I'm going to power snack and make some smoothies while we're going, because you've got me pretty much all day. And then we're going to take those elements and we're going to create some layouts, because it is International Scrapbook Day. Cards, you can do whatever your heart desires. The only thing you would change is scale. If you're doing something smaller like cards, you could really replicate anything we're doing on the layouts and just change scale. So we're going to be in the middle part, and who knows, and that could blend into the third part, right? It was hard to break the day up into time slots just so I didn't have one long stream going. So it's 3 sessions, okay? So we're going to be doing gel plate printing. So who here has a gel plate and you're taking out of the package for the first time? Who here is a seasoned gel plate maker? Who here is not doing the gel plate printing? You're going to do kissing technique and stenciling. So with that, if you are doing non-gel plate, use distress ink is what I'd recommend, or inks. I wouldn't use acrylic paint. Here is why I love acrylic paint, is for this. You're a beginner. Well, this is perfect because we're doing very basic today. Very basic. So let's talk about some things. This is my gel plate. This is how I store it. I take 2 sheets of cardstock and I press it down, just making sure there's no air bubbles. And that's how I generally store it, because if you have a bubble on it, it can leave a bubble in your plate, which you can recondition it and get it back to working. Something you want to use to clean your plate, hand sanitizer is perfect for getting the acrylic paint off. Most people's plates aren't this clean. I cleaned it so that I had a fresh one I was starting with, right? So I like to use the 8x10 because it's great with 8.5x11. You pull a lot of prints. You use a lot of paper when you're doing printmaking. So I think that this is a great size to start with, is an 8x10. I have all the sizes, and I want to buy, they came out with a big giganto one, and I am going to order that one as well. But for a class or anytime I'm teaching, I generally use the 8x10, and I have multiples of all the sizes because I do love my gel plate printing. You have a brand new gel plate, yes, but you take in the class. Irene had a house fire, so she had to replace a lot of things, right? I'm new, but I bought a large plate with a long time ago still in the package. Are you going to use it today, Carol? I hope so. Hello, Tamia, and I'm not ignoring you. I've seen your emails. That's my next thing to do, is this girl, man. It's so people think, oh, you went on vacation. I hope you're relaxed. I worked half of the vacation because I'm working on my fall collection. So there's no rest for the wicked, right? And I saw my friend Janine is here. So hello, Janine. She is the magic behind 49 and Market. So if you guys are not familiar, I came out with a new collection, the bestest collab ever with 49 and Market. We're going to be doing some awesome stuff with that. So make sure you check that out if you haven't. Hello, Brienne. I am so happy to see so many of you here. You have an 8x10 and a 5x7, Carrie? Yes. I have all of them, right? I found the giant one to be too big. Yeah, it would be more like if I'm going to make prints. I would do that if I was making art and I just want a bigger space. I don't think you need it unless you need it, if that makes sense. Like if you're doing something that's like that. You have all your VBoo merch on. I love you, my Robins. I love that. Thank you, friend. So we're going to set up whatever gel plate you're using, or you can do the kissing technique. That's where you can put all your mediums on a sheet of acrylic or something non-porous and just kind of kiss and layer with distress inks, using the same concept that we're going to go in and do things in the pink family, the red family, the orange family, yellow, black, neutrals, or whatever your color palette. It could be all blues and greens with a little black. whatever you want to do today, right? Question, will I be okay today with your speedball? It's all I have. Try it, Diane, but I didn't know. I even sold it on my website. I didn't even know it wasn't a true gel plate because Notions doesn't carry these, and I can't get them wholesale. For some reason, they won't let me order wholesale with Jelly Arts, or I've tried with both. I tried because I'm like, I need 50 because I'm going to be teaching on a cruise and I want 50, and I just couldn't get the stuff. And then they stopped selling them at the wholesaler I use. So I purchased the Speedball one, not realizing that it's not a true gel plate. So you can use it. Just know, be careful, because your paper could stick to it, because it just does not. You'll know when you have this one and you smell it, and you smell the Speedball one, and you smell the Vicki B one. They're made from different materials. So you know I'm always of the school of use what you have. Let's see what you can do with it. Maybe you want to do a little bit more with oxide inks today and not as much with your acrylics. So just give it a try, right? Question, am I going to need water? Not really. Baby wipes. So I'm going to go through. Let's go through. I digress, right? So let's talk about how I'm going to set up my plate first. And then I'm going to go through the papers that I have here. So you are going to find with this crew that I know, and I don't understand it, Irene. They only sell Speedball. Here's the whole thing is gel plate printing is amazing. I love it. I don't find that it's easy to locate. From art stores, you probably could, but it's not super easy to locate Jelly Art and gel press plates. I'm not really sure why, but it's hard. And probably too, there's not a huge margin for those companies to sell them. So they don't really like to go through the wholesalers, right? Because they're smaller companies. These are smaller companies. And I think it's probably an expensive thing to produce. So who knows? And we live in a bizarro world, right? Can I use spray ink? Sure you can if you want to. Yep, you can. You just will see with the consistency of the paint, you're going to get different results. And sometimes things that are more fluid have more viscosity, less viscosity, will bead on your plate. So you'll just get different techniques, okay? Michael's has jelly. They used to, but maybe, I don't know, online. But that's where I usually buy them with my 40% off coupon, is I'll buy them at Michael's. But I haven't been on there because I don't need it. I have lots of them, right? So I am not the perfect person. I'm sure you can find it with a little Google search. I did put my share sale links are in the description of this video. I am pretty sure that a Cherry on Top carries them too, and they probably have a sale going on. So if you just click on my link and then go and search it, you'll find a lot of what I'm using today at a Cherry on Top. Yeah, Dick Blick for sure. In the Canadian stores, definitely Canadian art stores have it. So I am putting down my craft mat because it's a little bit of a messier technique. So even though this is a giant craft mat, I have my craft mat down. I'm going to find my painter's tape and I'm going to adhere this to the mat. So when I'm rolling, this doesn't move around on me. I want this to be secure, so my plate will be secure. So I took it out. Now I don't know where I put it. So give me a second. Oh, it's right behind me. So I'm going to put my craft mat down and let me find. They might have them online, Irene. I don't know. And in Canada and the US could be totally different, right? Hi, Joan. How are you? Yes, all of this will be recorded, ready for you when you're out of the hospital. How are you feeling? So I'm going to secure my mat. And then hopefully it'll stick, because sometimes this doesn't stick really well to this paper. I am going to put down a piece of 8.5 by 11 paper. Okay. And I'm going to secure that to my craft mat. Could be, anything's possible. We are going to, I'm just telling you guys to be prepared for it. It's not a political conversation, but it is 100% a fact that these tariffs are going to affect our hobby and industry, because we're not going to be finding, there's going to be empty shelves, because there's no way that these companies are going to be able to bring that stuff in. And of course it's us as the consumers that are going to pay the price increase. But when you have like 140% increase, you're not going to be able to afford to do any of this stuff. So I really hope that that changes, because I'm nervous for all of it. It's going to affect Christmas. Oh, so I'm just saying, find the stuff that you want now, because we could have a little bit of a delay, right? With finding some of the stuff that we love to use, because all these small companies are, it could be the end for a lot of stuff, right? And it's not even doomsday. It's just kind of the way it is, because I'm witnessing it, experiencing it right now, right? So see what I did? I secured my craft mat. I put this 8.5 by 11. So now I have a guide when I'm laying down my paper. And I like this to be on a sheet of, see, so it's secure. So when we're on here and we're rolling and brayering, this stays where I want it to, okay? Here we go. So, that's how I set it up. That's how I set it up. Yeah, it's all great, but like, I'm really scared because I have a Christmas collection coming out and all of the stuff that I'm working on, you know what I mean? It's scary. Some of it might be massively delayed. We don't know. So that's why let's find the art that we can do, the stuff that we have around the house. So this is a perfect start. If you're new to this and you maybe are folding laundry or you're cleaning the house and you're just watching me today, this will be kind of a little intro to gel plate printing. So here we go. Can we talk about the paper types? That's next, Alora. I love it. Thank you. It's like you're working with me today, and that's the next part. Okay. So I'm set up here. I have a brayer. I will have sheets beside me that I brayer extra paint off on. This is just printer paper. This is just printer paper, which you can pull prints on just printer paper. That's the other awesome thing about this, is you don't need a lot of expensive tools. I will often have multiple brayers. Like I said, I don't want to turn this into a whole gel plate basics class, because we're never going to get any art done. But I'll tell you right now, if there's a preference for brayer, it is definitely not this. These are bouncy. They're less controllable. I like my soft rubber brayers, and you can buy, these are speedball ones. There's a one in my shop that's just an American Crafts one. You can buy them on Amazon, wherever you want to buy them. I have multiple sizes. I clean them with Murphy's oil soap, because if they get a lot of paint buildup, it can add pattern onto your plate, because your plate will pick up everything. If you have a cat or a dog or a daughter with long hair like mine, you don't want hair on this plate. Do not let your cat lay on it, because it will cut into the plate and you will never get that pattern out. So that's one thing. You never want to use anything sharp with your gel plate. Nothing sharp, because it will, if I poke a hole in this, every time I print, that little circle is going to be there. Okay, so you're going to need a brayer. I have multiples, because sometimes if I'm using black, I don't want to clean it right away. I have another one to go. Okay, paper. I'm grabbing it, okay? So let's talk about paper. I just don't want anything to stick on it, so here. So you can get these packs at Michael's, Hobby Lobby. I don't even know if Joann is open anymore, but these just packs of, this is 65, number 65. So it is not super thick, but it is a cardstock. You can use that to print. This is deli paper that I buy packs that line, it's for baking, right? Actually, this isn't deli paper. I have deli paper as well. This one, let me show you. Same idea, but it's parchment. So see, I bought a big pack of parchment, extra premium parchment for people who love baking or gel plate printing. So when you go on, you can buy lots of different papers. So I have that. So, right, it's like onion cloth or onion paper, right? You have some transparency in there. but it does have a wax coating on here, so it will affect, like if you wanted to ink or whatever on it, it does have a resist to that. I have deli paper as well. It's in the other cupboard. I have tissue paper. This is actually like a Japanese calligraphy paper. So see, it's got a little bit of texture and a little bit more give. Like it works well with wet techniques. I have some of that. This I bought at the printer, where it is just a heavier cardstock, but it's cheaper than buying like stuff made for scrapbooking. So I bought this in a ream. Rich just went out to get me one. A ream is when you get the whole pack of paper, and just go in and see if they have like 100 weight, 80 weight. Grab lots of different things. So in my gel plate printing drawer, I have tons of different paper. I book paper, lots of different things. Like I said, I think I'm going to redo my whole gel plate class and do the part 2 to it, and a part 3 and add-ons that's going to be coming. But for today, just grab lots of paper. We're going to be doing lots of prints. I have foundations because if we're going to do some scrapbook pages, I might want to do a print on a 12 by 12. It's heavy. This is great if you want to die cut out of it, but you might want to print a little bit before you go into your paper that costs you a little bit more, right? Because there's only 12 sheets, and I don't remember what this sells for, like $16 or something. So this paper is when I'm ready to pull a good print. I wouldn't want to practice on that paper. So I have a couple pads of that. The other thing that I have is the mixed media pads, which a lot of you might have stocked up on, because look at, you have a fiber paper or a vellum in here. We can print on the vellum. We have a watercolor paper that really is just textured cardstock like that. So when you print on that, you're going to get a whole different look. And then we have cardstock in here, and then we have this fiber paper, which, look at, this is all perfect for gel plate printing. Perfect. Right? Yeah, Canadian. Right? So whole different thing if you're buying it in the US, right, Irene? So those are your paper options. Paint. I am using acrylic. I like the acrylic I like to use. So it is going to be, for the most part, Liquitex in Amsterdam. And look at what I did. When I'm gel plate printing, I am of the school to keep everything kind of tidy. I like to have everything where it is, because this is just a messier technique anyway. So I went in like Amsterdam, and I met the people. And you know, it's funny, I did not know Amsterdam is owned by like the company who owns Sakura pens. I didn't know that. I love these paints, and I love that they come in colors that I can't get in Liquitex, like indigo and Payne's gray and Prussian blue. So I have a lot of these in here. I've kind of put them as blues, purple, green, yellow, reds, pinks. And of course, if you know me, in here somewhere is a neon, because I might use some neon. Can you print on acetate? You can. Is your plan to use it for, like a book cover or something? It's acrylic paint, so you pretty much could try it. The only thing is, because acetate is completely non-porous, the acrylic, just give it a try. Test it. It should work, but because there's no tooth in it, nothing for it to grab on, it might not pull the print, but I'd try it. You might want to sand it a little bit first, so it has some tooth, if that makes sense. Okay. I never realized how many different papers you can use on gel plate. Oh my goodness, so many, Carol. And like I said, we're going to do it way more in depth, but for today, this is what we're doing. The one key for ghost printing, which we're going to do, and that means when all your art dries on your plate and you want to lift it, you need a good acrylic white paint to lift. You can also use matte medium if you wanted to lift with something clear. Like if you wanted to lift on a sheet of black paper, you wouldn't want to put white on it. You could lift it with black, or you could lift it with matte acrylic gel. But do you see already? I don't want to overwhelm you. So we're staying basic. I'm not you. If you are a seasoned gel plate printer, do whatever you want. Just keep in mind, if we start throwing things out for people who are new, this can be completely overwhelming. So if you just have some gel plate or some acrylic paint, You can use fluid, there's so many things. But like I said, I don't want to overwhelm you. We're just going to go basic. I have a good acrylic paint. I have paper. I have my brayers. Other things that will make this whole experience magical is finding things that you can make a print with. So around your house, you might have some bubble wrap. You might have liner that you use to line your drawers so your dishes don't move around. How about some yarn or some string, right? How about some cups? How about a pencil with a new end on it, like a new pencil end? How about a sheet of paper and a paper punch? So we can punch some circles. So all of those things are found objects. What is your biggest thing? Is you don't want it to be sharp. Whatever you're doing, you don't want it to be sharp. Okay? Toilet paper roll, paper towel roll. So any of those kind of things. So I didn't grab a lot because, right, we'll never get it all done. We could spend all day just gel plate printing, right? Just printing. But I want this to be progressive so we can do some other things. The other thing, of course, which is magic on your plate, is stencils. So I'm using my exclusives on vickybooten.com. I have some Dina Wakley ones. Here's my kind of little container of things, right? Something like this will be great on the gel plate. So we can stamp. We can add and we can remove. You're going to see. We'll do the things. Things that I always have in my stash are script, notebook paper, text, polka dots. So anything that's kind of art marking. We aren't going to get too deep into this stuff because I want it to be pretty basic for today, right? Something like this, that you have a stencil and a mask, so you can do two different things, right? We have a mask or the stencil. But let's start basic. Today is going to be basic. I'm not going to get really deep into crazy pattern because we're doing collage. So we want to make collage papers. So that means pretty simple patterns in one or two colors that we can then cut and layer to make something else. All right. Okay. Are there any questions before we get started? Can I tell you one other thing that's good to have? I put it on the floor, so I have to pick it up. Makeup sponges. So if you want to add pattern through a stencil and only in a certain area, if you have a makeup sponge, that's a great way to deposit your acrylic paint without having to brayer it everywhere. So it's another good thing to have. Even if you have an ink blending tool and a couple of the foams, you could use that to apply your paint. Let me grab it. Paper towels, wipes. Let's go. Let's do the things. Can I tell you one more thing? To tell you one more thing? Because I said I was done, but I'm a liar. Is where did I put? Oop, bang my head. The other thing that's fun to use, and these are on sale on my site. Are you ready? I have super cheap, super basic acrylic paint. Will it make a difference? You'll see, Jessica, because here's where it makes a difference. Is some of them are really fluid, so you will never have like a super opaque print. So that's the only thing. You can use pretty much anything on here. If you want, why I use more viscous, resistant to flow, like a heavier body paint, is it's more opaque. So when I'm layering, it will cover layer after layer. So that's the only difference. So I say try it, but that's what you'll notice a difference, right? So the other thing that is fun on here is metallic. So if you have this, if you have Simon Hurley's, if you bought these from Vicki Booten, you can do some really fun things with metallic. So I'm going to for sure go in the gold. It's a brand new one. Okay. Or the neon set. If you have the neon set, these texture pastes will work. So grab the things. Grab all of the things that you kind of have laying around. Let's do it. They dry too fast. Which ones are you using? I never have an issue with my Liquitex, and I never have an issue with my Amsterdam. And the other thing, if it dries, make it a ghost print. You can always rehydrate it with the white and pull off your print. Question from a beginner: why do we put the paper under the gel plate? So now, look at when I'm going to go and pull a print, and maybe I want it centered on my page. Now I can line that, use that piece that I have as a guide for positioning on my plate. There's other things. If you were building pattern, you could tape your sheet and then print like this, like make a hinge. But again, let's not get crazy today. Let's just pull some prints, but that's why. You have those metallic pastes. Pull them out, Teresa. Today's your day to try them, right? So what are you going to start with? I'm going to go in with my yellows to start. So biggest thing now when we go, get yourself set up. Have your papers ready, whatever you're pulling, right? They're right beside me. I have my little tray, my wipes. I have my tissue. I don't want to get too crazy with some of the stuff because you guys might not have it all, but we'll do the things. And then what do I need beside me? Is something to brayer the extra paint off. Okay, so chicas and chicos, muy importante. The biggest thing for your success on a gel plate, I really believe, is learning how much paint to use. If you go too heavy with the paint, what you want this to be is almost like just a little onion skin layer that you lift. Your paper should stick to the plate when you pull a print. If you put it on and it shimmies like this, you have too much paint on your plate. There's too much paint on your plate. You're not pulling a print. You're pulling a print, but it's literally just a print of all that paint that you have on there. So if it dries around the edges, we're going to keep that because it makes magic later. So let's go in. I'm going to start with just this yellow, which is Naples yellow hue. You can use whatever you want, but let's go in here, and you do not need a lot of paper. Take the little boogers off. And I'm going to put maybe that much paint on here. Okay, it's not a lot. It might even be too much. Let's test it out. And then you're going to pick it up, and you are going to brayer a pattern across your plate. And if it's a little bit too much, just take some off. And you want it to have nice coverage for this first one. We're just going to pull a whole yellow and smooth out, if you can, a little bit, your brayer lines. Okay? Take my extra paint off. Get my sheet. I'm going to stand because I can never see. Right? And then let's just lay that on here and give it a rub. You can brayer it if you want. But all we're doing is lifting that paint. So watch, when we get it on here, there are so many things we can talk about with gel plate printing, like literally, but I don't want to overwhelm you because it can be, right? So here we go. So now when I pull this, I can feel like it's sticking on the plate, but look at, boop. I have, with acrylic paint, which is sometimes very hard to use, I have a print that I can layer another color on top of. So let's, rather than doing like a whole bunch, let's go in. What am I going to do on this now? Let's go in here now, maybe with a little bit of orange. I thought I pulled one. Did I pull no orange? I'm going to go in. This is a little lighter, but let's do it. So I'm just going to maybe brayer half of that. So let's do something super simple. So this layer is going to go on top. So maybe 3/4 I'm going to do, okay? And why don't we bubble wrap on this one? So when you go in here, you're going to take that, and this will lift your paint. And we can deposit it on the bottom. I made a mess right here. Let's try to do this a little bit. Okay. now I can go on here. Do I care if it completely lines up? No, because we're using these prints for collage. So we're making collage papers, which you want them to kind of be a true representation of one color or two. So this, you're not going to see super wow, because the color I used, it looks great down here, deposited, but it's too close to the yellow. Okay, so not the end of the world. But what do we see on here? See the stuff that's left on this plate? Let's let this dry for a second. Okay, we're going to let it dry, and I'm going to add another little bit of color down here, and we'll do something. Okay, who's playing with me? Who is playing along right now? So because we went in with this kind of peachy color, which was called light portrait pink, let's go in with something like this one, primary red. But I'm going to put a little bit of that, just a little, and then I'm going to put a little bit of that portrait pink, just to make a color that's kind of similar, just a little bit darker. Okay, so I'm trying to mix and blend those two colors to make a new color on the bottom of the plate. Ooh, I kind of love that. Look at. So we're going to get a little bit of I always forget what that's called. What is it called when it goes lighter to darker? And you could use a stencil on here, or what about a cup? What about if we just go in and add some circles? So if I go and lift this right now, and because this is all about learning, right? Ombre, thank you. So if I go and lift this, this paint up here is dry. If I lift off the bottom, I'm only going to get pulled from the bottom because that paint's still wet. So let's try it, right? Because if I don't rub super hard and I lift some of that paint off, we'll do the next one as a ghost print. But do you see there's still a little bit of paint left on here? I hope you guys can see that. So I just pulled that. Look how pretty that is. So we can print a second color on this page. But for now, we're going to let this dry, and we're going to put something else on here that needs to be lighter than what's on here, and we're going to lift that. So a ghost print is when you let the paint completely dry, and then you put a thin onion skin layer of another paint, and that's what you can lift what's on your plate. So you got to think about gel plate printing, where it can kind of throw you for a loop, is what I'm going to lift is going to be the bottom layer. So if I went in here and layered two other colors on here, and you're like, but you just covered the whole pattern, how's that work? Because the next color I put on is what's going to be in contact with the paper, and then anything that's left on this plate is going to be your top layer. So you really have to, with gel plate printing, is kind of like throws you for a loop, right? It throws you for a loop. So we're just going to wait for this. It's pretty dry. So what color are we going to go in here with? If I go in here with something too dark, I am going to end up, you won't see the pattern. So let's go in with some white. How about white and a little bit of yellow? Let's go in with a little bit of yellow. We won't go as strong as we did with that first one, but we'll put a little bit of this on here, but we're going to put white so we can lift this. If I put purple, Amy, you're not going to see it because this is only a thin layer. If I go in with purple, it's going to be really, really light, but try it. And the other thing, remember, this is one of the things that's really easy to do is create the rainbow on every page. I want these to kind of all be very monochromatic, so I can use them to make collage. So let's go in with some of the Vicki B paint. This is one thing I can say. These paints are really good. The ones that came in the tube like this are really good acrylics. So if you got them on super sale anywhere, I will put them if they're not up on my site. Eventually it will be. I have tons of stuff to add, but I ran out of time, right? So let's go and put some white on here. So I'm going to blend some of that white with the yellow to give this, make it a very light yellow. So pick it up, move it around, because you want to, I'm going to actually take some of that off because that yellow is way stronger than I want it to be. But I want to really blend that yellow. And it might still be too dark, we'll see. Because we're trying to make a new color on the plate, right? Very little paint on here. If you put too much paint on, you can't pick that layer up. It won't pick up. So do you see? You can still almost see the pattern underneath. So when you're doing a ghost print, means lifting the pattern that's on here. You want very little paint, but you don't want to overwork it so that you can't actually lift it, right? If it dries, you can't lift anything. So this layer of yellow is going to act like a glue to lift the dry paint off the plate. Sometimes when you're doing this, you might even want to leave your paper on a little bit longer. You can use your brayer and watch that the brayer doesn't stick to your cleaning sheets too. But what you want this to do is that layer of white yellow is kind of drying and soaking into the paper. And when it lifts, it's going to actually lift. That's my ring. It's going to lift the layer that's underneath here. So let's see. It's lifting. So it's going to be very subtle. But can you see that? So I just cleaned that whole plate off. That's a ghost print. How pretty is that? Do we have questions? Because this, right? I'm taking my ring off too so I don't scratch that. But look at our first print was yellow. And then we did the bubble wrap, but you can hardly see it on here. I'm going to probably print something else on top of this. I'll use this as a sheet to layer on. Then we did that pink on the bottom and we lifted it. So you see white through. But the top didn't lift where the bubble wrap was still because it was dry. So that layer that you see now, right? The yellow's behind it. Because when I lifted it, what's in contact is it's white paper, the yellow white layer we did, and then the layer that was on the gel plate. Okay, so we just made that is a ghost print, meaning that we picked up what was dry on the plate. You can have a whole bunch of magic with that, right? So let's just keep going. Let's just keep pulling prints. Because that's our whole thing, right? Is now I want to do something that is just yellow. It doesn't have the pink to it. So we're going to go with maybe a light white and yellow on here. And then we'll do something with yellow. But how about we do something too with stencils next? So I'm going to go on here and we're going to put white on the plate. So what are you learning? You don't need much paint, right? You don't need much paint. So we know that I don't need much of this yellow at all. I'm just going to put a little bit on here because I want this layer to be almost just a tinted yellow. But I'm mixing that. So I'm trying to move that paint around the plate so I can blend that in. Okay, so then start mixing it. So you're trying to kind of blend that paint on your plate. So now see, I'm making a very light butterscotchy yellow. And I'm going to just pull this print. I just want this as my base color instead of white paint, white paper. Okay, so let's just go in, take some of those lines out, and let's pull that. This is going to be my base yellow for the next print. Okay, so just lift that. There was lots of paint on here, so now do you see? That's my base. I still have that on here, but I like that. Leave that, because when we go to pull the next print, that little bit is going to be on here. So I'm going to go in now with a more vibrant yellow. And let's decide what we're going to do. Are you ready? I'm going to tell you something. I want a couple of backgrounds to pull. So we're going to make a couple solids for this next one. So I did this one. Let's go in here with, I know I pulled some orangey. I just don't know where the orange went. I'm going to pull some just yellow, okay? So just pull some prints. That's your warm up right now, okay? Just go in here and just pull some solid colors. Because we want this for when we start doing some stencil work. Very little paint. I clean my brayer. Oh, I love that layer on top. And I'll pull my print. Your pages shouldn't even need to dry if you're doing gel plate printing. If you're doing kissing technique, yeah. But these are all completely dry as soon as I pull them. That's the magic of acrylic and a gel plate. That's why I love it. There's no drying time really, other than if you're doing ghost prints. So I wanted to lift what was on my plate. So I wanted that yellow layer to be really thin. But watch, I'm going to show you something magical is going to happen. So we're never sad about this. Okay, just making some solids, okay? But see this? We're never sad about that because that looks really pretty when we pull the print. So see that kind of leftover on here? We can go in. It's yellow, so it's hard. What can you pull it is almost with white. So let's pull this just with white because otherwise you're not going to see it. It's too light and it won't show up on the next layer. Like if you wanted this to show up on green, it's kind of hard because it's such a light layer, right? So I'm going in with a very light layer of paint. I got to move a little bit faster on this one because I want to try to pick up what was left on that plate. So get in there and rub. I love it, Karen. Does anybody have any questions? Who's playing along today? Just curious. Who's playing along? So I really want that paint to be in contact because I want to lift that yellow, and it worked. So these are my favorite. This right here, look at that. So that pattern is just what was left on the plate. See the little boogers around the edge that you picked up? Little paint boogers. I love it. This is what I go for. I want that distressed looking, like old basic gray paper, right? So right now we have 3 base pages that we can do the next layer on. So now when we go in, let's pick what stencil do we want to use. So there are stencils. We can do this 2 ways. You could put a stencil down and add the pattern through the holes. So I could put a stencil down, get some paint on my mat and put it through with my sponge. You could brayer it in, but I find it's way messier. If I put it in through my sponge, I can add a pattern. What I can also do is put my color down, put my stencil on top, lift that pattern, and then lift the second pattern. So that's what we're going to do. If you're like, what the heck is she talking about? Let me show you. Let's go in with something super simple. Some circles. So I want this to stay, like this one, we'll start with this one. It's pretty vibrant. So the color I want on top is I just want to put kind of an orangey yellow. Here's my orange. What a ding dong, right? The brayer, yes, these are definitely turned into art that you can use. I love it. Brayer art is beautiful. So you're going to put your color down, you're going to put your stencil on top, and you're going to get 2 prints out of this. You're going to get what you pull out of the stencil, and then you're going to get what's left on the plate. But one might end up having to be, how fast you work is going to matter. One might end up being something we're going to do for a ghost print, and one, depending how wet it is, we can lift it. So that's why I wanted 3 pages that I can be working with. So that's why I went with 3 bases. Otherwise, everything would be white and orange. And I want a little color with my orange. Okay. So here we go. I want this to only be slightly, you could mix this with yellow too if you wanted a yellow orange. So I just want kind of a lighter orange. Let's go in with the white. What do we got to lose? Just do the things. Okay, so we're starting by mixing that a little bit, okay? Did I get enough paint on there? I'm not really sure. I'm going to put a little bit more. Okay, let's put a little bit more. Oh, I love it. Look at that already. Okay, good. I don't want this to dry on me. So let's get this down, boop, like that. And let's lift that light orange on here. So all we're lifting is what is in the circles. So you got to rub. You're lifting what's in the circles. Right? See what I'm saying? I lifted what's in the circles. Now we can lift the stencil and we can lift what's left on the plate because it should still be wet enough to lift it. There's your whole thing is so use the cheapest paper to start, Alora, just printer paper, till you get the feel for how much paint, because 9 times out of 10 people are using too much. I love it. So that's what was left behind the stencil, right? Sometimes the stencil's wet enough that I might be able to put that down and lift some of that paint off. There's a hint. There's a hint. So I'm going to leave that on there because if I do a ghost print, I can lift that. So you can be of the school that you're cleaning these as you go or clean them all at the end. If the wetter the paint is on here, much easier to get off. Remember, I'm crazy girl and I don't like dirty stuff. And it's okay because there's a place for all of us at the table. So a lot of times I will just go in and I'll wipe it off while it's wet, right? And if you're like, why do you clean your stencils at all? Well, I am of the school that if I let that acrylic paint layer and layer and layer, I lose the integrity of the pattern. And if I want to use these as well with my ink, I don't want that, right? So everybody's different. I love my friend Dina. She and I, if you came into my studio comparatively, right? So I love that there's a place for all of us.
No 80-pound at Beatty's. They got bought by Staples, and that brand is no longer carried.
They got bought by Staples?
Yes.
That ruins everything.
So I bought this because it was close to 80. It was 65.
Yes, thank you.
But if you don't want it, I'll take it back.
Sorry, friends. So, see, isn't that interesting? So Rich went, this is where sad things happen. So where we live, Beatty's is a local small brand. Got bought out by the big machine brand, and then all of the cool things we used to have don't exist anymore.
Yeah, they don't.
So you can order it online, but you know what I mean? Rich went to get me the paper that I love using that comes in a huge ream like this. Now they got bought out by a big corporation, and this is what we get. So it's 65 pound. It's what I'm using. It's brighter white, but it won't be as heavy as this stuff. It's fine for what I'm using, but
and the fruits up there.
Thank you.
Guess what? No more cherry. There's no cherry Coke in Walmart.
So there must be a shortage.
Yeah.
It's what happens. It's our family always will say, "Tub of water helps." It does. Okay, so can we talk about what we just did? So we had all those base prints, right? And then we put the stencil down and we lifted through the stencil, and then we got what was left on here. We're going to do another one where we lift, but I'm not going to do this print because I'm going to show you something, okay? So there's still like a hint of that on here. Like if I print right now with white, you're going to see like a little hint. But I want to do that again. Let's pick a different stencil. Let's go in with maybe the smaller dot. We'll go in with this one. Okay. So let's go in with maybe an orangey red. Orangey red. Who's playing along? What are you printing? Are you loving it? So we're going to go in with some of the orange. And then I'm going to make like a salmon-y color. Because in here I have this one, remember, primary red? And again, I'm only doing it at the half. This is going to be a lot of paint. I'm going to have to brayer some of it off. But that's okay. And maybe a little white. Happy National Scrapbook Day, International Scrapbook Day. I love it. So that's a lot of paint if I'm only doing the half, but it's okay. I want to blend it a little to make myself, it's a lot of paint. You can see when your brayer stops rolling, it's a lot of paint. My brayer's not even rolling on that because it's not in contact with the plate underneath, but it's okay. Let's blend out our paint. Oh, I love it. It's like tomato soup. Now take it off, right? Brayer it off. So you could blend your paints off and put it on. You don't have to blend it because, like, look, I have that little bit of a white pattern. But I'm working that because I know how much paint I need on there. And I will turn my brayer so it doesn't glue to that sheet. Okay? So we can go in here now. We can do so many things, friends. There's so many things we could do. And let's pick that up. But I'm not going to rub too hard because I want some of the paint left. Okay, so if you only want part of it to lift, you can do this too. Watch. Watch. So now I have a little bit darker. But see this pattern here? So we could go in and we can deposit another color. So I could go in here now, remember where I was saying with my baby, or with my sponge, and let's put a little color into those spaces. I'm not going to cover all of them. But what happens if we go in and just put a little bit of yellow on there? I'm going to show you two things because cool things can happen. Just use the back of the sheet. If I want to lift some of that paint so it lifts off of the top of the stencil too, I can do that. No, didn't. It's too dry. So that was a lie. I lied right to your face. So let's lift that now. And I can pull that pattern, but I'm only going to pull part of it. Okay, I'm going to do it on the back of this because I want... Because I can use, then I have options of front and back, and I'm only going to lift a little bit. So now see the hints of yellow in there? It's because I deposited that. But now look at, I'm leaving that on here because we want to lift that as a ghost print. So let's go in and add some more to our ghost print, meaning let's grab a stencil that we then add pigment on. And let's even see, can we get any of that off of there? I'm curious, because that paint feels still kind of wet on there. We did. There's a hint of it on there. So that's going to be part of one of our layers. And I'm wiping it off because it's so easy if you wipe on paper. Now, what color do we want to go in here with this now? We could put some pink. Pink could be pretty. Also, I have to keep track a little bit of time because I've done some yellows and now I'm kind of leading into the orange. Then we'll lead into the pinks and reds, right? Any questions? What do we want to add? How about this? Just always get worried when I see no comments, because then I'm like, is it still working? We'll do it this way. So you could brayer the pattern on. You could also just add it. So I am going to pick something that's pinkish. Ooh, I'm going to go neon. I'm not frozen, am I? No, I think it's still working. Because you guys, if you're working, you're like, Vicki, we can't talk to you because we're gel plate printing. But when I don't see comments, then I always worried that it's not working. So I haven't seen anything since Kathy Brady commented. So I'm going to go in with some neon, and I'm going to add it with some yellow as well. Just somebody comment, okay? Just want to make sure it's working. So let's go in first in here through this, stick it on, and let's add some of the yellow. Yeah, I feel like my comments aren't working because I know one of you would have commented when I asked you to. So I'm going to refresh. And I'll keep working. So I'm adding my yellow, and then I'm going to go in with my neon with the yellow still on here, so I should get kind of a yellowy pink. Yep, see, my comments, I have to just keep refreshing. So if I'm not answering you, I'm not ignoring you. It's that the comments weren't working on my... Okay, so I'm depositing through the stencil. Isn't that weird? It's weird. I don't know why it wasn't working. So we're going to do this with a new sheet, and I'm going to lift a little bit off of that, because then I get what's on top of the stencil and what's through the stencil. Isn't that pretty? And then we also are going to print. Now we've lifted some, so we just get this halo hinty thing. So I'm letting this dry. It's going to be a ghost print. Do you guys see how pretty that is? Look at the sponge, gives you so much control. Look at that, friends. Oh, I love it so much. I did not press very hard. I was just lifting a little bit what is in the stencil, and then you get what's on top of the stencil a little bit. I know people don't realize like how magical neon is. Neon pink and navy. Oh, I love it. So sorry if I missed your comments. They weren't working. I don't know what's going on today with YouTube, because that doesn't usually happen, right? I still cannot believe that Beatty's got bought out by Staples. Did all my Canadians know that? That does not make me happy, because Staples is not a Canadian brand, and Beatty's definitely was a Canadian brand. And that just means now that all the things I liked seeing in there aren't going to be there. I wonder if they'll keep it as Beatty's or if it's going to become a Staples. 80s girl loves her neon. Me too. Me too. Okay. Like I said, I clean my stencils. You don't have to. I just want it so when I go in with the next color, I don't have to worry about the paint coming off. So we're waiting for this to dry, and we're going to lift it. Now, should we lift it with a white? Because if we lift it with a white, I'm going to lift it with white just because I'm going to want that contrast, right? Yeah, I don't know if it's just an Ontario thing. Like, it literally, I think, was almost local. Like, I don't even think it's all over Ontario. It could have just been here. I don't know. But that means, like, I used to be able to go in and they had like tons of different types of paper, and now they will not. Okay, ready? So we're going to put on, this needs to be dry for the ghost print. If your paint is wet and you go and put white on top of it, you're just going to blend the paint on your what is this thing called? Your plate. So not much, right? For your ghost prints. So anyone out there creating a ghost print for the first time, did you get good results? Were you able to lift your paint? So here's the whole thing. If your paint is too thick, you will not lift the print. You're just going to lift white paint. You want this to go on like onion skin thin. If you put it on too thin and it dries before you lift your print, then you are only going to get part of the print because the paint dried and you have to do another ghost print, right? I don't want online shopping as much, Natalie. I can do it, but I feel bad for the people it employs and everything. I don't like the direction our world is going in at all. Okay, ready? Let's see. Are you ready for this one? Boop. Look at that. So, who needs... This is what I'm talking about with the layers. When I look at a print that I did in the past, often have to sit and really look at it and try to figure out how I got it. Because everything is backwards, right? Should you dry with a heat gun? I would not use a heat gun on a gel plate. It's patience. You gotta wait for patience. But if you're not using very much paint, it should dry very fast, right? So when you look at here, can you see the little dots? So that yellow was the layer that was underneath where I put the words, that fake text. And why you don't have solid is because I lifted most of the color through, right? So I lifted most of the color, and that's why I just get a halo effect around the pattern. And any of these ones that you print you don't like, it can be a base for something else that you're going to do, right? So look at, that's more of the color, less of the color, where you just get a halo. Like we could sit ghost printing, we could sit and do like a ton. So we want to get stuff done. So let's just keep going. So I have some yellows. I've got into the oranges. This one's kind of still in the orange, right? This I'm going to keep true yellow. So let's go in here. There's no reason we can't add maybe a lighter layer on top. So let's go in and do something super simple. Do you see how your plate will still move when it's attached to a gel plate? So I'm going to go in now with a white layer on here. And I'm going to show you something fun. Okay? So take one of your layers. This is not ghost print, so you don't have to go super, super thin on your paint. But we're going to do a layer. So it's like our yellow layer is going to be underneath this white layer. Okay. So now we can take our cup and let's kind of start in the middle. Let's put that cup on and pull. Let's put the cup on and pull. Let's put the cup on and pull. Put the cup on and pull. Oh, see, this is going to be harder. Put the cup on and pull. Cup on and pull. Cup, pull, cup, pull, cup, pull, cup, pull, cup, pull, 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 pull. I just have to say cup and pull. Did you notice? What is wrong with you, Vicki? Cup, pull, cup, pull. Where do we even start? This is going to be fun. Okay, now let's lift this. See what we get. So it's only going to be very subtle on top of here. So imagine we'll do it again in a bolder color, but it's very subtle on the top of that yellow layer. Okay. But look at, woo! Let's lift that up with something. So we'll let that dry a little bit. This one is a little wetter, so just be careful, right? Just be careful. But you can see it here. But you need something with more contrast to really see that one. But I'm okay with subtles. We're okay with subtle. I'm going to go into now pink. I'm going to put pink on here. So we're going to let that dry and we're going to put pink on here. Cup pull. Cup pull. I'm sure your family is like, what is wrong with her? And I love that your son will laugh at me too, because I'm laughing at me most of the time too. What is wrong with her? Where do we even begin? That's what a lot of people have been watching for a while, is where do we even begin with our friend Vicki, right? So let's go in with her pink. Do we want to do the cup and pull again with pink? We can do it again and you'll see it, because we're going to have that hint underneath it anyway. And the hint of white on top. I love that pink. Woo! That is Barbie. And I'll tell you, you can't get this just anywhere. This pink is Amsterdam, and it is called, what is it called? There's 20 languages on here. Rose Quina, I think is the English. See? But it is such a vibrant pink, and I find pink is hard. It's a hard color. Are you ready for cup pull? Let's cup pull it again. So let's go on there. I'm going to move this over now. Cup pull. Cup pull. And I'm going to do them different lengths this time, because why not? Cup pull. And I'm twisting at the end. Did you see that? Cup, pull, twist. Cup, pull, twist. Cup, pull, twist. There's going to be a lot of paint, because where you end up pulling it, you see I'm taking some of the paint off. Where you end up pulling, you're pulling paint down too, right? Okay, let's lift that. Maybe one more here. See what that one looks like. Thank you very much, Sharon. And hello from Iowa. I love it. Where are you guys watching from today? There's quite a few out there, which I wasn't sure we would get, because I didn't really... So my paint was too thick for our cup pull technique. The paint is too thick. If I put lighter, we'll do it again. Because you can get some really cool techniques with it, but see, it's not pulling enough of the paint. There's too much paint on the plate. But it's okay. That's going to be a bottom layer, because for me, I don't love this one. But I'll put my next layer on top of it. But this is going to be kind of fun, isn't it? This is going to be kind of fun. So let's do this as a ghost print. But we will let some of it dry, and I'm going to add some pattern on top. So what do we want to do? Do we want to do some string pattern? So what do we want to do with this? I want a little, look at that. Delicious. It is magenta. I can't say paint colors, so help me here. Quinacridone. Magenta quinacridone. It could be totally Yamalama Ding Dong. I might have said that totally wrong. So let's do some string. So I'm going to put that on here. Oh, I love this color so much. It's like a magenta, definitely a delicious magenta. So it's going to be a half. Let's get some string. I think I made it up. I think I did too, Natalie. It's Yamalama Ding Dong. So, and this is a mess. Oh, I see one end here. Let's see if we can get it out. Yamalama Ding Dong. So you probably should have your string ready before you do this technique, but my name's Vicki and I do what I want when I want. Well, have a good sleep, my friend. I'm sure I'll still be here when you get up in the mornings. So we're going to take this string now and you're going to place it just all crazy. Just all crazy on here. Oops. And put your finger on there too, because that's always works. So just know the thicker the string, the more of a halo you get around it, if that makes sense. So let's put that on here. I'm going to pick that up with white. Okay, we'll do it on the other half of this. So when we put that on here, you're going to press pretty hard because you're pressing around the string, okay? Pressing around the string. Is that 2 sheets or 1? So you might even want to get in there with your brayer a little bit because you're pressing around the string. And the thicker the string, the more you have to press around it, right? Oh, love it. So now you remove the string. And this is going to be part of our ghost print. You can use it again. Let's see, how fun is that? So now we have the remainder of the rings. There's rings behind here, and then we have the string, but it's a little bit wet. I'll show you. Look at a little bit wet. Oh, I love it. So now I just got an extra print out of all of that. But you know, the unfortunate thing is I printed it on the back. And now if I want to use it, but I want to use that, so I don't recommend that. Don't be cheap on your paper, Vicki. We'll do it again. So this is still a little wet. I'm going to go in here, keeping this monochromatic, and I'm going to make a light pink. So I'm going to use the Barbie pink that we used, this one here, with some white. Okay, so why don't we... I want it to not have the dots in the background, so I'll take my palette knife and I'm going to make my color. So I'm going to do that on my craft mat. A little bit of pink, some white, let's make the color. Boop, boop. You need space when you gel plate print. Do you ever notice that? It is messier than what we normally do. See, it's even a little darker than what I want. So I'm going to put a little bit more white in that. And then I can put that on my plate. You could definitely blend this right on your plate. But I find where the paint first comes in contact kind of leaves a little halo. And I don't want that. I want it to be just... nice bubblegum. A little bit of Trident pink. Excuse me. And I might put a little hint of the yellow at the bottom of this. Okay. So this is going to be my pink. I'm going to put some of that on here. Okay. And then a little tiny bit of this yellow down here. And we're going to pull this ghost print. So let's start with the yellow. I kind of want it down here and then it can blend into the pink. So we're going to put our yellow on there, start blending it into that pink. I'm going to remove the yellow so I can get a truer pink. And then blend that pink. This is a ghost print, so we don't want a lot of paint on here, but I do want kind of that tropical sunset pink going on here. Blend it down into the yellow, up into the pink a bit. In your brayer. Make sure your layer, see, it's time for a new roll-off sheet because you'll start gluing onto it. But you want your paint to be thin enough to pick up our ghost print. Okay, let's go. Let's do it, Vicki. New sheet. It's too wet. Gets saturated and then it's done. I love these colors too. Nat. Let's do it. As Tone Loke says, let's do it. What do we think? It's okay though if you use excessive amount of paper, because all those prints can be used every time you pull your stamps out, when you are die cutting, when you pull out your Cricut or your silhouette. All you're doing in essence is making your own pattern paper, right? And for me, I don't care if I do anything with this stuff. For me, the magic is the making. I just love to sit and gel plate print till my heart's content. And then I'm going to get some other paper to try too. Okay, you ready? Let's see the reveal. I love this one. So because I lifted that string art, you can't see much of it. So let's do that one again. The string art. Okay. Let's make a pink. This is going to be our base color. Ooh, look at that funky do going on here. Look at that funky do going on. So I'm going to do a whole string of pink. No, I'm going to pull this. Okay, let's pull this first, and this will be our background color. And then we'll go in with some super contrast for the string art. Okay, let's do it. I love this color. Just pick up a print. It's a pink print. Okay, pink print. Let's wipe this up so I don't put my arm in it. I am the I must clean up kind of crafter. If you are not, it's okay. I just like to show that there's a place for all of us, because there's some people who will not do this because they think it's too messy. And I'm like, but the fun is in the mess, and messes can be cleaned up. So it's okay, right? Let me wipe that. Now, let's do our string art again with a contrast, right? This is going to be our base color. That's our base. So what do we want on top of it? Do we want to go pretty red? Or, oh, look at this. This one is called Permanent Matter Lake. Permanent Matter Lake. If you guys can see that. Permanent Matter Lake. So it is this, oh, yummy, like grape pop. Oh, you know what? This color, if Vicki was going to name it, you know what it would be? What is the wine we put the fruit in? What is that called? It could be like a Merlot, but for me, there's peaches and raspberries in this color, and I'm going to drink it because it's my favorite. The wine with the fruit in it. One of you guys are going to tell me, because that's what that color would be to me. That is 100% sangria. Don't you think, Jessica? And Diane, it's sangria, isn't it? So let's put our string art on here, on our sangria. I love it so much. Sangria makes me happy. Oh, this is going to be fun, isn't it? Sangria, you're making me happy. What do we think? More? More string? More string? But I can't find the end now. Oh, what a mess, Vicki. There it is. Do you love this color? Me too. So wherever I was shopping, it was an art store, and they had a ton of Amsterdam paints because they aren't, or I might have bought them online. It might have been from Dick Blick. But I love that freaking color. Scissors, if you were my scissors, where would you be hiding? Good thing I have 20 pairs. I do matte finish. Preferably, Jana, is matte finish. Ooh, look, that frayed end will be fun. Put that on there. And let's fit a little bit more in here, kind of around the edge. And I'm going to fray the end. Let's fray it. Let's see, what's that going to look like? Because you'll pick that pattern up. That's what's magic about gel plate printing. Okay, let's do it. You know, as our friend Tone Loke says, let's do it. Well, you know what? And there is the magic about art. You put as much string on or as little as you want. But I want to fill the whole space. So now you have to rub because that string is thick. That yarn is thick, right? So if you don't rub around, you're not going to lift it all. Like you won't lift the pattern. So we're going to get 2 patterns out of this, right? Drum roll reveal, it kind of is, isn't it? So let's do a peek without lifting the whole thing off. Look it. I love that. So it's not a ton of pattern on here, but let's get the string off and pull this one right away. Okay, get it off, pull this. Oh, I love it. We're going pure white on this one. Will we be able to lift it all? Did the paint dry? I don't know. Let's see. So you see this one doesn't have a lot of detail, right? Because the yarn is thick. This one is the imprint of the yarn. But you get what I'm saying, right, Cindy? Do you have to make anything out of these? No. I just like the process of making. Okay. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. Does it not look like we photocopied that in the most delicious sangria color? So look at what we got. Boop. Look at 2. Look at that. Seriously. Seriously. So this is what we've done so far, right? I love it. Let's keep going. It was too dry, but it's okay, Carrie. Ghost print. Ghost print. This one, oh my goodness, how do you not love that? So you know what I'm going to do on our next print? Because this is dry underneath, right? So we're going to pick this up as part of our color. And this is where you're going to get that whole looks like basic gray, distressed deliciousness. Let's go in with a thinner string and do a second one. Is that cardstock? This is just 65 weight, 80 pound maybe, printer paper. It is called cardstock that I got at the printer store that now doesn't exist. Suckers. Makes me mad. Is Jelly a good brand? Yes. Zip. Jelly Art, or I'll show you the packaging. Just don't buy Vicki Bootner Speedball. So here is one still in the packaging. Gel Press, great brand. Jelly Arts, great brand. Gel Press, Jelly Arts, yes, 100%. This is going to be magic. Magic. So, let's go in. What color do we want to put on this one? I think let's go in, maybe it needs to contrast. But I don't, I'm keeping everything close on the color wheel. So I wouldn't put something green on here or something. It needs to stay in the reds and pinks. What if we pick this up with neon? Let's put the neon pink on here. Let's go in neon. We can do half and half. I'm going to go neon. I'm going to keep it pretty true. Okay, I'm going to go in with neon pink. I'm going to brayer this on. Let's get my string ready. Thinner string. So this is crochet yarn, right? Thinner string. So things you could use. If you had bought a bag of oranges and they came in that netting, you could use that. That should be put in your found objects for gel plate printing. My friends, I've lost my scissors again. That is 2 sets of scissors. What is wrong with you, girlfriend? Okay, I'm ready. Let's brayer and let's go. So I'm lifting this on a new sheet. Oh, that pink just brings me joy. Brings me joy. So you could just do this and lift what's on your plate. So did you see right there? I did not work that very long, did I? I did not work that very long. Blue will be nice next, but because this is we are going to be doing collage. I'm staying true to colors. I'm not saying that you can't mix color. If we were doing different projects and you didn't just tie all your string up in a knot like I just did. So let's just cut it and start fresh. Okay. I want to show you when it's a thinner string what you can get. And then hopefully Vicky's paint doesn't dry before I untie my knots. There we go. So I want you to see when you have thinner string what kind of results you'll get. It's a lot of business going on there. Did you notice? A lot of business. Eight by 10 is what I would start with, Jennifer, because your paper, you can buy inexpensive paper, right, in 8 by 10. So, or 8.5 by 11. So I think it's a good size. It's big enough I can cut out of. And for you guys that are on here live, I feel like it's giveaway time. So I am going to do a quick scroll. So make sure you comment, because when I'm done pulling this print and the next one, I'm going to do a quick scroll. Look at that one. So this one just picked up that pattern. What are we going to get right now? I'm going to let this dry. This one's going to be a, oh my gosh, see the difference? Oh, I love it. So this one is we're going to let it dry, and we're going to pick this up with ghost print. And I am going to do a giveaway. The giveaway, and I have my notebook beside me, so I will remember. You have to email me at info@vickybooten.com, and I'm going to give away a mixed media prize pack. So here we go. I'm scrolling up the comments, scrolling. The winner is Teresa Barrick. Teresa Barrick, for the first prize of the day, is a mixed media prize pack. Writing you down. So what do you need to do, Teresa? Teresa Barrick, congratulations. You need to email me at info@Vicki, V-I-C-K-I, Booten, BOUTIN.com. Because you need to make sure that you set up on vickybooten.com on my shop, so I can mail you a prize, and then just email me so I know that you've set up your account and I can send it off. So Teresa Barrick is a mixed media prize pack. I'm going to be doing lots of these today. Okay. The next giveaway is going to be $50 Canadian, because I'm in Canada, on vickybooten.com. So you can go and use that because it's 25% off. So I am going to do that next. the next giveaway, which will be in a little bit, is going to be for a gift certificate. I'm going to do lots of those today. So you can go pick whatever you want, right? So, oh, I love this one so much. So we're letting this dry, and we're going to pick that up as a ghost print. So I want to know if, who was it who said their paint dried and they didn't get it? Did you do a ghost print and try to lift it? Who was that? Who said that? Now I won't find you because there's so many comments for the prize. So I want to know, are you excited about this one? And hi, Carrie, did you try doing it as a ghost print? So when we're looking at these, we get, right, that we're going to get way more detail where the string is in contact with the plate. This gives you more of a wonky detail. I love the ghost print 2-zip because I'm going to tell you is once you get the concept of how much paint, it is way more forgiving because you don't have to rush with, you can get some extender. You could put extender in your paint, meaning it just stays wet longer, right? I did, and I used neon orange paste, and it was a bit too thick. Work in progress. Yep, but that's why. It's a piece of paper in your time. We're going to get that made as a t-shirt and sticker. It's just a piece of paper in your time. The whole thing with all of these is you might not hit it out of the ballpark the first time you do it. But that's where the learning comes from, is you working through the things that you felt were, nothing is a failure because it's just a layer, a different layer, but it might not be what was intended. Do you want me? Oh, I'm going to freak you guys out. Guess what I'm going to pick this one up in? How about gold? Gold. I'm going to pick it up in gold. Yes. The little boogers and grossness on your plate is where the magic comes from. You want that. You don't want to clean your plate in between. So if you have Simon Hurley, any gold paste, gold paint, go for it. This is why stock up on all this stuff. When it's gone, it's gone. I don't work with American Crafts anymore, right? So I brought a brand new one home because I've had the one I've been using for a long time and it's starting to dry out, because they will dry out. It does not, like Tim would always say, it's not the everlasting gobstopper. These are not going to stay. They're not going to stay wet for a long time. They have a shorter shelf life because they are in plastic containers. And once the air gets in, it is like an acrylic base. And what will happen is it will turn to like hard plastic. So what I normally do is tell you to tap the bottle down like that. But we're going to take that right off. Why waste it? So this is a heavier body paint, right? So when you put this on, it's not going to brayer the same as your other paints. But you're okay. You just need a little bit more. And you need to brayer it out. This is going to be Goldfinger. Really yummy. But it will dry faster. You got to work faster with heavier body, okay? Let's hope for the best. I'm standing up for this one. Am I going to get it? I don't know. But we're going to try. Did it dry before I got it on? I don't know. But we'll rub it and let it sit for a second. Can you seal the jars with press and seal? You most certainly can, Diane. But you know, it just won't last forever. So some people, these glazes and texture pastes have been out for a number of years. Some people will open it and then leave it on their shelf for 5 years. And when they open it, it's all dried out. It happens, right? That happens. Do you think you'll have any more mixed media products come out in the future? One never knows. So I am working with a new company, but my stuff is not going to be coming out until January. There is a lot of opportunity there, and it's going to be good. I'm wiping my fingers because all that gold is under my fingernails. And remember, I get a little crazy. So who knows down the road. But I will use Simon's stuff and lots of other things. But I just like to pull that out because I know a lot of you guys invested it and you might never use it. Question. So far, I've been using acrylic paint with the acetate instead of a gel plate. Should I try ink too? 100%. You have a longer open time, Anti-Caffeine Crafts. you have a longer open time. I actually have to show you guys a trick, a technique that I've done that is faux gel plate printing. You guys have to remind me, and that'll be one that we'll do. Okay, let's hope. Are you ready for the reveal? Oh, you're going to love this. Get ready. But guess what happened? I left it on too long. Oh, it's okay. It's gold. Can you see that? So it dried. This dried. That's why it didn't lift. See right there, dried. But guess what? I'm going to show you. Oh my goodness. What do you guys think of that? So behind it is that metallic gold. It's so pretty. I love it. I love that. So guess what I'm going to do now? We're going to lift this with a light color. It's going to be good. So what do I want to lift it with? It needs to be light enough because these are all lighter colors, right? I love it, Jessica. You got me in my craft room. Let's get the jelly out. I'm telling you, if there's anything I do that will get the biggest response, it's when we do jelly plate printing. Because yes, you can get these responses. You might, or results. It might take you a little longer just because I've been doing this for very many years. I've had a gel plate for frickin' probably since they came out. So I've been doing it for a long time, but you guys see me mostly as a scrapbooker, right? Because it's where my job is. But I've been doing mixed media art forever. So this is exciting stuff. So we ready? Let's pull a different paper to pull this with. I'm going to add a little bit more pattern in here around this because this is going to be our next ghost print. So everywhere it didn't lift because it dried. Remember, Carrie, this dried. Hello, Valerie. I miss you. I miss you. I was trying to talk Devin into stopping at your house on her way home to pick up my Built Bars. And Carrie, you know that jewelry company we like that does all the beaded stuff and they had a big sale on? There might have been a package like that sent to my friend Valerie too. She must be like, dude, you're crazy. Okay, so let's add some pattern. Are you ready? Here's something fun. What if we go in and stamp some numbers on here? Yeah. The only way it would work is probably if you live next door to the airport. She's such a brat. She's like, it's too late. I don't want to do it. So just know this, you need to clean these right away. So we are going to go in and we are going to stamp a pattern on here. Are you ready for it? This is going to be fun. So you could just, you know, free ball it like that, or you might want to put it on a stamp block so you have a little bit more control. I think I'm going to put it on a stamping block. You could free ball, or you could put it on a stamp block. This is going to be fun. Okay, so what do we want to go in with? Do we want to go keep doing the kind of neon jazz? I don't know. How about gold? We're going gold, dudes. I'm going gold. I'm doing it. I'm going to brayer this on because you don't want it to be too thick or you're going to lose the pattern, okay? So we're going to have to work. So what do you need? Ready? Baby wipes. Ink and alloy. So, Carrie, did you go on Ink and Alloy? And this is for any of you guys. I was with my friend Nil Marie this weekend, and she came out in the cutest caftan I've ever seen, swim cover. And I'm like, where'd you get it? She goes, I shop at this awesome shop. Guess what it was? Ink and Alloy. Has like cabana striped. They had a green and blue one that was sold out. I'm mad, but I bought the pink and orange one. So yeah, go check that out. Let's do the gold. Let's see how it's going to work. This is going to be a, we want a thin layer. We're going to brayer this on. Let's see, is it going to work? We're going to try it. It doesn't have to be perfect though, right? You have to work fairly fast though, or it will dry too fast. So let's see. Please work. Don't make Vicki look like a dummy. Oh, the gold, sorry, it's my head in there. The gold might be too light. So let's alter that plan. We got to go in with something darker. Okay, gold is too light. So the gold is on there, but gold is too light. We'll put the gold on at the end with another layer. Okay? Don't do the gold. Tried it, but that's why. Piece of paper in our time, right? I'm going to wipe my brayer off. You know what just happened? I'm under the table. Just give me a second. I pressed hard and it shut off. You can use whatever stamp and just make sure you're spelling it right backwards because you're going to lift it positive. Does that make sense? If you're spelling, just be careful. It's a Mrs. Roper event, but you wear it on top of your swimsuit. It was beautiful, so I did order it. So if you guys go and check, Ink and Alloy. I love their bracelets, and I laugh because Carrie came on a cruise, so we got to meet in person, and she was wearing jewelry, and I'm like, oh my goodness, do you buy that at Ink and Alloy? And she was like, I do. And then we realized we both like to shop at the same jewelry store. But I did not know that they did. Caftans and swim stuff, right? I pulled my first print. You're a happy camper. I'm excited for you, Jennifer. I'm excited. Okay, let's go in with... I'm going to go in with that magenta. So this one, again, remember, Permanent Matter Lake. It's the plummy color. There was a Mrs. Roper party in Savannah yesterday. I love it. I would be there. So we got to work pretty fast. I'm going to get them ready so I can pop one on, get the next one right. I'm going to do to 5. This is going to be fun. I think you guys will like this one. And these letters are distressed anyway. So because it's acrylic paint, you might want an extender when you do this technique because it's going to dry pretty fast, right? So it's not going to go on. It's not going to be perfect. Paint's too thick, but who cares? Whatever. It's a number. Whatever, right? 1. Love it. Am I getting maybe all the pretty detail in that stamp? No. Clean it up because all that paint is getting in all that detail. If you have which I don't have it here, missed it. Don't use maybe your favorite stamp in the world, but it's good. Good enough. Let's try this too. What happens if I brayer this and make it like a paint ink pad? Let's try that too. We'll go in now, this pretty thin. Let's go like that with that one. Okay, wipe it off. That's why some of these stamp sets, if they're a favorite and I think it'll work on my gel plate, I will buy 2. One that I'll use for mixed media and one I can use for proper stamping. But it came out. 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what happens when we stamp it into the paint. Ooh, that's kind of cool. It worked. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I wonder if should I have done it the other way? I don't remember. I'll have to see if I did that right or not. 4. But this is a ghost print, so it doesn't matter if they dry on your plate. Okay? So this is a little bit more forgiving, right? It gives you the time. Because when I lift this, they're probably going to go backwards. I probably needed to go this way. Right, friends? Because when I lift it, it's going to be different. But that's okay. We'll see. Yep, the numbers are, it is, I did it wrong, Belinda. 100% after I did it, I realized. So it should have went. Why don't we do it again, like I meant to do it, backwards. So why don't we do this now? Overlap it a bit. Like we meant to do that. Like it's part of the pattern. How about that? Right? And then no one will know. Only you guys will know that Vicki didn't do it right. I don't want to cover all that, so I'm going to go around it a little bit. See, you can't really ruin anything. It just, you might take a detour. It might be what you, it's not what you initially planned, but there's no reason that you can't, right? Go in a different direction. So let's pick a stencil, and we're going to add a little bit more of this pattern. And then we'll put another pattern on top, but I just don't want, I want to tie this color in around. Okay. Look at, we're supposed to stop in 30 minutes. And we have not done all the colors, so I'm going to have to stop messing around. It's not really a ghost print kind of day. It's more of a, got to get some more colors done. So we'll just do some quick ones next, okay? Or do I just stay in the warm palette? Maybe that's what I'll do. I won't do the rainbow. I'm going to stick in just doing some more prints and some black in the warm palette so that I can, does that make sense? Whatever my palette's going to be. Let's wipe that up. We're done with that mess. Let's add one more on here. This is not going to make your manicure really pretty. Well, we can always do the break, come back and print some more, pull some more. But I told you, this gets, right? It gets where you're like, whoop, doing all the things, living my best life. But I'll use the stencils for the most part, I think more so when we're doing the next stage. But I'm going to print, pull some polka dots. And what color do I want these to be? I might go in with yellow. I might do that. I got to decide what I'm going to pull this with. Because yellow might not show up that much. But I might pull this with light blue. This might be one of our contrasty ones. So see, when this happens, it glued. Clean that up, because if you don't, every time you brayer, you're going to have that line on all your prints. Okay. And you could do this with stencils, because if you notice in my, on VickiBooten.com, if you haven't grabbed them and you're going to go do some shopping, make sure you get the We Are Memory Keeper big number and letter dies. They're expensive, so with the sale, if they're still left in stock, it is a great thing to add to your cart. Make sure if the Tim Holtz number ones are still in there, that you grab those. the number stencils because they're good to have. Some of these things are very good to have, right? Okay, let's add one more, or just lift this. Maybe we'll just lift it. I'm just going to lift it. Like I said, I don't care if they're clean. I just don't want a big gob of acrylic on here. Because then what ends up happening is you lose the integrity of the pattern. Hello, Melinda. There we go. Yeah, you could totally flip your number stencils. Yep. Can. Because they're probably going to be all backwards, right? It would be better to put your stencils on. It's okay though, because it's background art. We don't really care. Yeah, these should be backwards, but you can't do it with a stamp. But you can with a stencil, like this. Right? I could flip these, do it backwards, and it would lift, because it's going to all be backwards when we lift them. Because you can't do that with a stamp, right? It only is going to stamp the proper way. Let's just lift this sucker. I'm going to go in with this. Do, 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 boop, do. But that is not dry, the yellow. Don't care. Don't care. Yep, you could use acetate. You could stamp. Oop, look at that. You could use acetate, stamp that on, the acetate, and then press it in. You totally could do that, right? That's a great option. So here is our first high contrasty one. You can see where that yellow paint was not dry. Boop, boop, doop, boop, doo. Let's lift it. That's a great idea though, see? That's why community is such a good thing when we share. So if you're out there and you're having an issue with anything, put it out there. This group of people are amazing. And they will say, hey, try this. This will work. Because they've experienced it and they know how they got the result, right? What's the question, Irene? So all that paint, the first layers that I did are dry. By putting down the wet layer, this is called a ghost print, it will glue. It acts like a medium between the paper. It glues to the paper, and then it lifts what was already dry on your plate. But you really want to get your edges where all that kind of paint booger was. Like, I love that. The edges are the best part. So this is going to make it all darker, so that you're going to get a whole different color than those pinks. And then our numbers are backwards, right? But it's okay, because it's just a layer. And now you can see the gold on there a bit, right? But this will be fun when we lift this layer now. Okay, so what do we want as my contrast? I think my whole palette is going to be turquoises, reds, yellows. That's going to be my 3 color. Okay, so let's go in now doing a little bit of turquoisey. Just got to pull some because this is just our first layer, right? First layer. So I'm going back in with those 2. So this one is called turquoise green. And then this one is called light blue permanent. I'm going to do my first layer of solid. Just going to go solid, and then we could, oop, hello. And you don't want that to happen. You saw it, right? My brayer fell off. Do, 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 do. Here. This one is deli paper. So now we can have another layer when we're pulling. Another weight of paper, right? So it's pretty wet, so this paper is not as porous. So I still have a whole hint of that color. But I have that color now on a different weight of paper. Let's pull out of this pack. Let's pull the watercolor paper. For our next layer. So this, oh, it's still pretty wet. I'm going to pull it. Let's see. This is textured now though, right? So just giving us a hint of that. Ooh, isn't that pretty? We could use that as a whole background. Let's see if we can pull enough of it to make 12 by 12. Because if you want to make layouts with me, you're going to want something for a base. So this now just left a texture on here. It's going to be pretty. But look how fun is that? That can be part of a layer that we can stencil and add onto, right? Love it! So let's get in here now with, we're going to add color. So we're going to put this blue down, which is cerulean. And we're going to add pattern with our cup again. So we're going to still have a hint of that turquoise. Right? You could go in and do a couple double rings if you wanted to. So we're going to pull this as a ghost print. Okay, I'm going to put just white on it. Love it. Clean that mess. How we doing, friends? Because then we are going to take, like we're going to go till 12:30 and then clean up. What does a ghost print mean? So a ghost print is when all the paint dries on your gel plate and then you put a layer of wet paint on top of this dry paint to activate and glue that first layer or first 6 layers to your paper. So a ghost print is this, all this paint. There's some of it is a little thick because I added. So I'm gonna lift some of those little circles. Watch. I'm gonna lift a little bit just to speed the process up, okay? So see where some of that was a little wet. I'm just taking some of that off. Okay, I didn't press very hard, but see right there, it's kind of extra wet. The other thing, oh, there's so many things. I'm not even going to tell you all the things we could do because it really is. There's a lot you can do with gel plate printing. I could do a year-long series. I really believe we could do a whole year-long series of this. Circles are easy, right? Circles are easy. That's why I'm like, we could do very advanced things, but a lot of you guys aren't there yet, right? There's no sense in starting there. Could you put gold rings on this? You could. How about we put some gold in half? or a different pattern. Why not? Nobody is the boss of us. We can do whatever we want, right? My whole thing is, I want to start doing where we do, obviously, scrapbook classes. I love it. Like that one, and I'm putting access only up for if you bought all of 49 and Market. Flower Emporium access only is going to go up on Monday, but it's not going to be on sale. It's not on sale. It will be, you just pay the regular price. So even though the sale's going to go till Tuesday on my website, that will be excluded from the sale. So we do fun things, right? So for that, that's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun doing our scrapbooking stuff. But I also, my heart is happy when I do mixed media and then just art just for the fun of it. So I would like to start doing where I do things where it's not super, I do the stuff for free, but also if I do the little classes where I'm like, it's $25 or $50 and you get like a whole month-long class, so that it's still super affordable, but I can take the time out to do it, because that's the hard thing is I do a lot of design work. I travel to teach. So it just has to be stuff that I can do where I can take the time, because this is my job, right? I love it, but it is my job, is that I can still make that work. So I think that that would be fun if we could do something like that. So I have a smaller cup. I go to the dollar store and I buy all the different, like the shot glass, the Dixie cups. So why can't we go in here now and put, do we want to center it in here? Or yes, I'm going to just do it in some of them. Let's do a gold circle in some of these. So this paint is a little thick, so I'm going to have to lift some of that. But look how fun is that layer going to be. Okay, I didn't do all of them. There. That gold layer is very thick. So let's go with our tissue again and lift some of that. Just a little bit. Not a lot, because the gold needs to be a little thicker. And I'm going to lift this whole thing with white. But look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I'm telling you, the things we can do, right? The things we could do, the things I can teach you, the things we could work through. But the whole thing is time, right? It just has to make sense. But I would like to, we've talked about it. And I think gel plating really, if you think, is my thing. This is the thing I feel like if we buy the tools, your investment, you've already made the investment. I'm not making you, the only thing you'd be adding it to it is stencils, really. And I feel like as a card maker, you buy new stamps, whatever. But if we were just had your gel plates, you have your acrylic paint that lasts forever. So I feel like as a hobby, this could be a good one. Because the only thing we'd be adding to it is like if every couple of months came out with some new stencils, some new stamps, some new dies. But you would just have paper, you're existing. And the other thing is when you buy these, it's not, they're reusable, right? It is not a consumable. Like you use it and you can use it again and again and again. And so, you know, I've said it. If you ask me what my favorite things are, stencils and stamps, because I feel like they're the gift that just keeps on giving. But you want to have something that you can get your money's worth, right? So we're just waiting for this to dry, and we're going to lift it with white because this gold is thick. I'm cheating. I'm going to lift some of it because I have no patience. And we're on a time crunch. I'm just doing it. We're just going for it. You ready? So what layer? This is a ghost print. Whoever just asked. In this is meant that it's dry. You can still see the turquoise that was on our first layer is on the background. It didn't lift. There's still a little bit of the gold is underneath there from that first one. Look at the snotty corners, those edges. These are hard to lift. These are hard to lift. So I'm going to go in with white. So you're going to see that it's turquoise first, and then all that blue is going to show. Let's do it. So you need a good white paint. Could you lift this with matte acrylic gel? You could. But you want a good white paint. If this paint goes on too thick, you will not be able to lift this. So that is your other thing, is you need to make sure this layer is nice and thin. So evenly apply this white paint. So you need it all to be covered, but you can't have this paint too thick. And you're playing with a whole different thing too, because you have the gold on here. And the gold is a little bit thicker layer. So it's not all gonna lift. I'll tell you right now, all that gold is not gonna lift. I'm gonna have to put lots of pressure on here. Find a sheet. I wasn't ready. Let's go for it. You ready? Put that on here. Now press. Rub that in. Get the heel of your hand. You want that white layer needs to now dry into the porous white paper we just put down, so it can suction all the stuff that was stuck on your plate. That's what you're doing with a ghost print. Yeah, the Vicki B gel plate is garbage. I'm going to tell you, I did not agree to it. When I tested it and I'm like, this doesn't work, do not put it out. And they put it out anyway. So that's why you haven't seen me gel plate for a year, because I felt bad. But there's so many stories I could tell you guys. Did you notice I don't have any cut and paste? So many stories. I feel like sometimes it's a good thing that Vicki's got the fight in her, or I might have quit a long time ago, because I can't ever seem to catch a break. So you only see, right? That's what I always say. You only see the highlight reel when you look at all this stuff. You have no clue what goes on behind the scenes. So I do it because of you guys, because this community I absolutely love. For as much as I give, you guys give back tenfold. And for the ones that are not very nice, there's so few. But I always have to think their lives must not be very happy if they put mean stuff out on the internet. Are you ready? Oh, it's so pretty. Here we go. So is the gold going to be super vibrant? No. And why? It's because it had a layer of turquoise already on the plate. But everything lifted. Look at that. So that layer of gold has this layer of turquoise first, because that's the first layer that went down on the plate. Do you see the pattern? That's from the watercolor paper. So do you see that little bit of red? That was left from our other print. See that? This is the money shot. I love when we pick those edges up, right? So look how pretty that is. Super easy. I only use cups. I didn't make you go buy anything super expensive, right? So that is that's magic. That's magic. Oh, you wouldn't believe. Some people are not very nice at all. I mean, there's not many. But sometimes some of the emails I get, I feel the more I give, the more people want. And sometimes it's like, sorry friends, that's all I have. That's all I have left. And this has been a hard year for me anyway, with my mom passing, right? But it's good. It's so fun. So let's do a couple more blues now. Because look at, I can go a little over the time, but the next one starts at 1 o'clock, and I have to have a quick bite to eat so I don't pass out while we're doing this, right? Because the next live starts at 1. So let's just pull a couple simple ones. We're going to do some quick ones now, friends, okay? So this is what we have. We have that. We have that background, which I'm going to have to pull a background because, well, do I have to? Not really. I can do whatever I want, right? So this is all that I've pulled. Like I could gel plate print all day long, but we don't have enough yet. We need more. So let's do some quick pulls. I'm going to do some quick ones right now. Ready? So even if we do these, like let's do something that's pink and orange. So I love that the hint of blue is still on the plate. Maybe we can pick it up, maybe we can't. Where is my pink? There. I know we could just gel plate all day, but the whole idea is that this is progressive, right? So let's do some two-toners, okay? I love pink and orange together. Pink and orange make me happy. Okay, that's very pretty. That's a pretty one. And what can we do that we haven't done yet? Anything with a pattern will work. So when you walk through that dollar store and you see things that have a pattern, that will totally work on your gel plate. What else can we do? I just want to lift some of that pigment out through, that pattern. And I'm going to position it again. Okay, so I lifted some pattern. Let's pull it. How about we pull this one on tissue paper? Whew. And then it left a hint. So there's one. Okay. Let's pick this up now with yellow. Oh, how about this light pink? Let's go in there. Okay, so see all the hint that's still left on here? This is going to be our ghost print. So let's pick this up. Instead of white, I'm going to go in with this peachy pink. This is a ghost print in the essence that I'm picking up what is left on the plate from that tissue paper pull. And I'm just going to put it on the tissue again. Here we go. Okay, let's pull this one. I want to lift, so I'm really rubbing in there. We're going to go in with yellow again. I'm going to use this dirty stencil. That's the side that's dirty. I'm hoping we can get some of that to release. And I'm going to go through that with yellow. Okay, so we're brayering over the stencil. And I'm going to put some of that there. We're going to bubble wrap around that yellow. And we're going to lift some of that pattern. And lift. So what do we have? Okay, I'm going to lift that yellow. Live from her other live. That's what's going to happen, right? Oh, look at that. Look at that. So now we still have some of that yellow stayed on there, right? Perfect. Just pull like crazy, friends. Just pull like crazy. So let's go now ghost print this guy, and let's go in with some orange. So I'm going to go with turquoise on this. Actually, I'm a liar. We're going to go in with turquoise because our color palette's going to be yellow, pinks, that magenta, and turquoise is my palette. So if you saw my paper towel, this is a mess. So let's quickly wipe that. Although, oh, it went on here. That totally just made a pattern. So now I feel like this needs to be picked up with white. So, skirt. That's what we do, right? We want to pick that up with white. It's going to be almost like little daisies. But to make it interesting, I'll put a hint of turquoise around the edges, okay? So just let me wipe this up a bit, because that's a lot of paint on here. So these are Vicki B stencils. If you are new here, some of them are sold out. Yes, I'm going to reorder them. I have to put my order in. It'll probably take about a month, but I'll be reordering. And when I reorder, I'll put in a couple new stencils. So maybe there'll be 6 new ones coming out too. And like I told you, I don't care what kind of art you make. The one thing that should be a staple in your creative toolbox are stencils. The art is all made for you. It makes you a Picasso every single time, and you don't have to do anything other than use pretty stencils. So if you ask me one thing, I'll continue to make. And look at Irene, we're saving our paper towel art because it's beautiful. Okay, oh my goodness, got to keep going here. So I need to add a little bit of turquoise. I told you I want to just put some hints of turquoise because we're going to lift this with white. So what can we do? Why don't we use our bubble wrap and put dots on with the turquoise? So watch. Put it on your brayer. And put some turquoise on there. Love it. And I might brayer. Oops. This brayer is not very tight. Do you see that? Maybe just on the edges a little bit. We're going to let that dry, and we're going to pick this one up with white because I just want that yellow, the hint of pink, and that little bit of turquoise. So lessons, you can add and you can take away. There's 2 different ways you can add pattern onto your gel plate, right? Adding it is how I just did, where I put the pigment on the shape and I put it on there. Taking away can be when you put the stencil on and lift. You put the paint on, you lift. There's so many things, friends. It's not enough time. It's not enough time, right? Because we could sit here and do this all day long. Oop. Okay, you ready? We're going to let this dry. We're going to lift it, and then I have to pull at least a couple turquoise ones, because I'm using whatever I have. That's the whole thing, right? I love it that ooh, look at. I'm forced to use this. So I'm cheating. It might not be dry enough, but we're lifting it. Because we have things to do. We're lifting it. Get it all on your edges so you can get those little paint boogers. Okay, let's see. What's this one gonna look like? I love that. Really, right? It does not have to be feminine or masculine. You can do anything you want. And anything that will, look at, there's so many things we can do. I'm telling you, so many things. Wait till you see this one. You're going to be surprised because we lifted with white and you're thinking it's going to be pretty white, don't you think? Look at that one. Look at that one. I love it. So this yellow was stamped on the dirty stencil. This is around the stencil. Love it. Got to keep going. I'll show you. Yeah, lunch break time. You guys can go take a lunch break. I just have to get a couple more turquoise so I have some contrast. Okay? I just got to do a couple more, but this will be fun. Let's do a full turquoise one. Okay. I didn't even get a black one. But it's okay, because we can start and you guys can give me a minute. We'll start the video, and even if I'm like, just give me a sec, I'm just going to run and have a couple bites of fruit. I ate a big breakfast because I knew how today was going to go. Look at. There is no reason you can't. Is it going to be backwards? It's going to, but we don't care because it's not really a pattern, right? That we are care about, because it's just a background. Okay. Whoop. White, because this is one of my favorite stamps. I don't want acrylic paint to stay in there, right? So just give it a wipe. And then I'll take a toothbrush later and clean it up. I love red rubber. I think that cling stamps and red rubber, if Vicki was going to come out with something, that's one of the things I would do in a second. Let's pull this Dina one. That's a fun one, right? So, tissue paper. Love it. Love it. So lifting with the tissue paper just gave a hint, right? Can we put this down and get that pattern off of it? That'd be kind of fun, wouldn't it? Should be wet enough still. The paint was pretty wet. Let's see. A little bit. Okay, I'm going to lift some of that paint so it just leaves a halo of that color, because that's pretty thick because it's on the sponge. With the tissue, because you can just get in there a little easier, right? Oh, boop. Lift the stencil. Love it. I am going to lift a little bit. Like I said, it's pretty thick. Just a little. Whoop. Okay, now let's brayer some of this and do something else. have. Oh, let's do this. Easy. Easy peasy. Okay. So this, we're going to have to lift with another color. But look at that. I love it. And other things, like, so see that line I don't really love? You can take a wipe. I licked it because I don't have any water here, and I can remove some of that. So if you don't like your strong lines on there, take it away. Preferably not with your spit, but you can soften that, right? There. Dry enough, let's lift it. Dry enough, let's lift it. What color do we want to put on here? Light baby blue. How about baby blue? Saliva, right? Don't lick your artwork. Well, you know what? I think Tim wouldn't be surprised that Vicki just licked her artwork. I think Tim would be like, yep, that's par for the course with Miss Booten. I licked it because I had no water around me, and I needed what I needed. Isn't that funny? Don't lick your artwork. It's probably a good rule to live by. She's crazy. Here we go. It's going to be like a turquoise and a baby blue. Let's see. So it's going to not be high contrast, right? It's just a subtle one, but it'll be good for our, what are we doing? It'll be good for our collage. Okay, let's just keep getting stuff out here. Okay, that one has a lot of paint on there, Vicki. You went crazy. So let's lift it with our tissue. Tissue for the win. That needs to be lifted. All good for decoupage. Okay, I'm going to lift this one with gold, but this isn't dry. That little sucker. I think that was the only one. I think the rest is okay. Okay, lift it with gold. Are you ready? This has to be my last one, because I have to clean up for the next one, which is going to be elevating all of our prints, which we can do a little bit of kissing technique too. So for some of you guys that didn't have your a gel plate, you still will have an option, okay? Oh, it's going to be pretty. Okay, brayer that on. Beautiful girl all over the world. I would be chasing, but my mom is wasting. They got nothing on you, baby. Nothing on you, baby. I might say hi, and I might say hey. Shouldn't worry about what they say. Let's try it. Are you excited about this one? Did any of you guys leave me because you're like, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to eat or I can't keep going? What do you say every time you gel plate? Yeah, gel plate eating a chip. Yeah, because it is. Like, I could sit here and just do this all night long because I find it's a world of discovery. This is a world of discovery. Every single time you do this and you pull another print, like another idea pops in, or like what happens if I try this, or like I feel like it's a world of discovery. And that's why I try to convince everybody, yes, you need to do this. Oh my goodness. Freaking love this one. That is like freaking beautiful. Look at with the gold. Isn't that pretty? I love it. Okay, let's just use this paint and do something with it because yummy. Indigo. Yummy. I'm just pulling this one. Oh, look at that. It was ready. Stop rolling me, lady. You're working me too hard. Okay, look at that hint. So let's go in with the turquoise. I'm dropping stuff everywhere. Ooh, and there's gold on here. Let's use it. Oh my goodness. Bubble wrap for the win. And circles. Okay, this is the last one because I'm going to have to go live in a few minutes and I'm going to have to clean up, but you'll be there with me. Sorry, shaking you. Trying to get those edges. And last but certainly not least, let's clean the plate with some white. And whatever's still on your dirty brayer. Gotta careful. I can't go too wild with this brayer, right? Because it pops off on us. Okay, friends. Gonna pull this one. You're not gonna even see my face. I might flip the camera. Let's just lift it, clean my plate. I'm gonna clean all this stuff up. It's probably just all going on the floor. And then I have to pop on in 7 minutes. The next one. Oh, wait till you see this one. And that was just cleaning your dirty plate. Just cleaning your dirty plate. Get all that magic. I love it. Okay. I'm flipping it around, saying goodbye. Whoops! Breaking stuff. You just got to see, too, that Vicky's room. That's a mess on the other side. Well, whatever. I've never claimed to be perfect. Okay, friends. We did a lot. So I am going to end this one. I'm going to clean up quickly. We're going to get our stuff set up for the next, and now we're going to elevate all of these. So Posca pens, oil pens, anything that you have, we're going to elevate our art with art marking, stamping. We are going to do die cutting, and we're going to make elements for creating our next project. So we made the backgrounds, the bases, and then we're on to part 2. So thank you so much. I'll see you guys in a few minutes for round 2 of our progressive crafting. See you guys in a bit.